Welcome to the Simplify, Lead and Grow podcast, where business leaders share real strategies for growth. Hosted by Steve Kopecki, each episode offers insights to help you simplify, lead with purpose, and achieve success. Get ready for a wealth of knowledge and inspiration. The journey to simplify, lead, and grow starts now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of the Simplify, Lead, and Grow podcast. Today, I'm honored to have Ken Vandervest, co-founder of Lisbon Creek Systems. Based in Milwaukee, Lisbon Creek Systems simplifies technology for businesses through a comprehensive one-stop shop approach, offering expertise in protective systems, communication systems, audio and video systems, and information technology services. Ken, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for the invitation, Steve. I've been looking forward to it, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to chat with you today.
All right, great. Well, let's get started right away here. I know your time's very important and you're a busy person. So can you tell me a little bit about the journey and mission behind Lisbon Creek Systems, the journey to get you to where you are today, and what is really the mission of the system, Lisbon Creek Systems? I think you have a pretty interesting story to say.
Yeah, I started out in the security business in 1998, and I worked for a major company in the security business, and they also had a phone division. And one of my first lessons that I learned as I was learning security systems is they communicated through phone lines. But the two divisions at the company did not communicate. So when the phone line didn't work, the security system didn't work. So that created some hassles, with the customers. Like, well, you should have knew that the phone line didn't work. So I guess there's a real quick example of finger pointing and technology, and I think that seed was planted way back in 1998.
Okay.
And through the years, I worked at different security companies, and eventually went to go work for a company that did higher end security systems. And in that process of meeting these bigger organizations, they started to ask for more and more products. And it was a security company. So we couldn't do a phone system solution, provide the phone service or data cabling, or who knows, anything in technology. It was just a security company. And I think that really started the wheels turning. Hey, the customer's asking us for more things. How can we bring that to market? How can we be a solutions provider, less finger pointing, and be of service better to the client? So, like I said, that started many years ago, and then having all those experiences through the years.
Okay. Where did the name come from?
Well, we just didn't want to be a security provider. We wanted to be a technology company. And it's really hard to pick out a name for a company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How do you come up with it? And my business partner, Earl, very creative man, um, he did a line like this, and it looked like a very peaceful river, creek, sort of thing. And it just stuck. And he owns a property out in the town of Lisbon, and it's called Lisbon Creek. And, if we were to have said Earl and Ken Security, how could we say we do IT? Or how could we say we do phones? So we had to come up with a different name that I think is peaceful, and it's also creates a little interest. And then we weren't putting ourselves in one box. So that's what we settled on. We talked for a couple of years, and we always kept coming back to that. So it's worked for us overall very well.
Okay, great. I really like that. The the peaceful piece of it. Certainly, the business that you're in, at
Yeah.
times for the individual, it can be anything but peaceful trying to figure out technology issues or having them like on a day of a video, uh, conference or blog, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are some values that you have in at Lisbon Creek?
Yeah. I mean, we promote a great company culture, having fun, coming up with solutions, and we bring that to the customer. You know, not everybody has a huge budget, but they have problems. We like to say that we're a solutions provider,
Yeah.
and we want to hear what your issues are, what you want to have better, what's happened in the past, some, frustrations, get, a good technology roadmap. And once we do that, we're able to come up with a plan of action. And we don't sell any proprietary products. We're not a dealer of any particular product. It's all solutions-based selling, installations, solutions. You know, what do you want to accomplish? And because of budgets, we're going to do what needs to be done first.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then we'll take the second step. So, I really think with that approach, customers see that we care, number one. But number two, the pressure's on us to provide that solution and do a good job because that's not everything. There's going to be another point where we got to do the next step. And this with a company could be a 2 to 5 year thing where we got to come back again and again. So we're always trying to do a great job for the client so they invite us back to do that next part.
Okay. Is there a particular customer or prospect that's more of an ideal one for you and your company?
Hmm. You know, we have a travel agency in a house.
Hmm.
Just one person. She wanted a professional phone system with a voicemail. And when somebody leaves her a voicemail at her office, it goes right to her cell phone. She could read the transcript of the message. She could call it right back. She could forward it to whoever if they had to do something.
Hmm.
Um, so that's probably our smallest client. But then we do work for school districts, pharmaceuticals, um, and everything in between. So
Okay.
it's really about making what we like to call a cheerleader, right? Make people happy and get referrals, and they'll send us somewhere else. So uh, I don't like to say no to anyone.
Hmm. Hmm.
You
That's
keep
great.
people happy.
Yeah.
Everybody likes the big deal, but that's not our philosophy. Let's help everyone. Let's get our name out there.
Right. Right. It kind of flows right from Lisbon Creek. It sounds like, and as an organization, you haven't defined your ideal client or customer or prospect by how big they are. It's more about their pain and how
Yeah.
you keep them happy.
Oh, absolutely. We started in 2016. It was just Earl and I. And we get together at his house or my house. We were at the kitchen table and we buy product and have it in the basement or the garage.
Hmm.
Um, and we just kept growing and growing and a couple of years later, like, well, we should get an office, somewhere to put the products and then we'll have desks and we'll have computers and then we'll have a little bit more room and we remember where we came from.
Hmm.
And when a customer calls and they're small, we want to help them, even if it isn't a big sale. And we've gotten some very nice clients that have grown. So we grow with our clients. So maybe they start out with 2 employees, um, and then they have 5 or 6, and then they have 10. So you never know who you're talking to
Hmm.
and who they So it's fun to watch some of our customers grow like we did.
Mhm.
And of course, you always want to make people happy, get referrals, and so it just goes back to doing your very best to help whoever and not discriminate. Hey, that
Yeah.
job is too small for us. There's a lot of big companies out there that, as an example, in IT, they want 12 computers or more,
Mhm.
or phone companies, phone service companies, they want 10 seats or more. So we've done great with the small to medium business, but as we've grown, we've been able to handle, school districts and pharmaceuticals and these bigger clients. Um, but, there's an underserved market with the small to medium business, and I think
Mhm.
that's been at the core of our success, you know, having that type of attitude to help.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, again, it's no business is necessarily too small, and having that sort of culture and mindset, and then the larger customers have come along, and you've grown with some of those smaller ones to make them larger. Don't really know which ones those are going to be, so it's about trust and partnership, I guess, to help them move forward. That's
Yeah.
that's great. It seems like it's part of how you might differentiate yourself a little bit from other providers of their
Yeah.
services.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely. No doubt about it.
excellent. How have your core values like innovation, reliability, and community impact shaped your leadership style and business growth?
Well, I think that, at the core, we want to treat others with respect and do a great job for them. And it's all about helping. And we're part of 14 different networking groups at Lisbon Creek System. Some of them are during hours, some are after hours. And that's everything from bid improvement districts to Chamber of Commerce, to lunch and learns, ribbon cuttings. Um, and yeah, it's fun to get business, but it's also a ton of fun to give others that are helping you business. So we're always listening for our customers or partners, what kind of referral for them will help them. And it's very important that we're all successful. And we love giving leads. It only helps the community. It only helps businesses grow and help others, and uh, really strong into the community. I would say most of our business is, in the 7 county area, southeastern Wisconsin, and you know, working with those businesses, staying in our community, providing leads to others, bringing people together. We'll have networking meetings here where we'll bring in 3 or 4 different companies that we think might be able to help each other, whether we whether they're a customer or not, everybody thinking about each other. So yeah, I love that. We have a wonderful marketing team here. Make coffee, desserts, bring in lunch, whatever. But yeah, that's been a fun part of the business.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there too, because I participate in one of them, a networking group that sometimes is at your facility, or it's coordinated to other facilities, like earlier today. And I think it really does add to, and Julie, your business development lead, is really responsible for putting that all together, and she does a great job. And I think it's very helpful for entrepreneurs like myself,
Hmm.
um, and it also helps me understand your business so I can make referrals when there potentially are out there. So I think it's
Absolutely.
it's a great thing that develops the community, and I definitely appreciate you bringing that up.
Yeah. Yeah, Julie does a great job here. Uh, Setting up all the different meetings, setting up groups here. What group are you in with her?
It's on It's on Wednesday mornings. We connect. Let's
We
go. We
connect.
connect.
Yeah.
She's got two of them that I participated in, but I think the other one's got the name of Lisbon Creek Network.
Yeah. Yeah. Coffee at the creek.
That, she hasn't invited me to that one, but I get coffee when I come to the creek
Yeah.
all the time.
You just scoop the coffee out of the creek. That's all.
Oh yeah, no, it depends upon what. I mean, I wouldn't do that in Cudahy. Nothing against Cudahy, okay? I mean, yeah, it's that meat packing plant down there. I don't know what goes into that river. So let's talk a little bit about the current. If you look at the business today and it's grown, you got recently moved into a larger facility, uh, and today, if you think about the strengths of Lisbon Creek and just kind of summarize it a little bit for us, what do you think are some of the top key strengths of your company?
Communication. How does the client like to communicate? Everybody's a little different. Some prefer a phone call, some want to email, some want to text, you know.
Mhm.
Identifying how a client wants to communicate is very important. Um, some customers are at their desks all day. Others are moving about the city, based on their business. So communication is very important. Um, I did mention a little bit earlier, I believe, about we're not a dealer of any particular product. We don't sell anything proprietary. I think that at our core is just such a statement.
Mhm.
You're not stuck with this product. We meet with the client. We talk about what their needs are, and then we pick out what we feel is a great solution for them. But we're going to give them options. You
Mhm.
know, this one we think is going to be a great fit for you. We demo that product, but everything comes with a different price tag. So sometimes for customers, we're putting together two, three, four different options for them to pick from based on budgets or sometimes they're gathering information for the bigger boss. You know,
Mhm.
and always be willing to come back and explain how things are going to work or demo the product. Um, and another key for us has been having really good suppliers slash partners, folks that will go above and beyond, help you get product quicker, even willing to visit with the client, see the environment,
Mhm.
um, you know, teach us as much as they can so we can deliver a high quality product. So
Okay.
partners so important for us.
So you'll schedule like visits to live displays of the technology solutions. Is that?
Yeah. And some of these folks are out of state,
Mhm. Mhm.
Minnesota, North Dakota, some in Florida, Texas. Today we're doing a Zoom conference, so sometimes we'll do something like that, but they seem to have representatives that travel. They come into our office. We have a really nice conference room, seats about 80 people, and they'll do lunch and learns.
Mhm.
And that is so convenient because everybody's got to eat and everybody's so busy. And it's real easy to say to the guys, hey, listen, hey, we got to hear about this product. Um, and, you get something to eat and um, make the most of your time. So I think creativity and the willingness of others, all the collaborating that's done here is so important. There's only so many things that can be communicated with a text or
Mhm.
an, it's getting into that nitty gritty, figuring out what maybe the issue is, coming up with a solution, plan of attack for execution. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Um, really enjoy it.
Yeah. I mean, you're describing your culture as well as you're talking about your strengths and that creativity piece. In order to have that, you got to person probably has to be careful about how much structure they put in place so you can, be nimble to meet the requirements of the pain that the customer is going through. And so you're describing a lot about what the culture must be like, and it sounds like an exciting place to work. If you then go a little bit deeper into something that we always don't like to talk about, some of the weaknesses today in the business, as you grow this business, what would be some things that you're working on?
Well, I think communication is huge. I think we do a pretty good job of it,
Mhm.
but having that follow up after a meeting in person or a Zoom meeting or a meeting at this office, we've come up with, I think, an even better process, um, and that is sending out an email summarizing the last meeting.
Mhm.
Things get forgotten about. And sometimes the client has some assignments to do. Maybe they haven't found the print yet. Maybe they haven't decided what product they want to go with because they've had internal thoughts back at their office. They haven't decided yet, but they told you about some of their problems. So always clarifying that scope is huge. And I think that follow-up email is so important on keeping everybody on track on where the conversation left off, what assignments they have, what assignments we have, all to, you know, get them a solution at an affordable price, or it's not going to happen. And
Mhm.
our solutions are custom. So we got to be good listeners. We got to know what products are out there and how we can meet their needs to bring it all together. And like I said earlier, if we don't do that, we don't get to do their next project
Yeah.
because again, we're a tech company. What's their technology roadmap? Um, if it was just security, you go do the security project and then you're done.
Mhm.
You know, so their next step may be IT, or their next step may be switching out their phone system. So it keeps the pressure on us to always deliver.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like the you have to deliver the tactical to the pain today, and when you do a good job with that, it allows you to get a little bit more deeper into the customer business and
Yeah.
understand what their strategies are. Maybe help map them out, a technology map, as you said. That kind of what I'm hearing. How about opportunities as you look to the future? We get, AI's out there, and you're a technology company, uh, and what are some of the implications because of, that might be opportunities, not
Mhm.
necessarily because of AI, but that's just one of them that I mentioned, out there. Opportunities as you look forward.
Security is something so very important, ever evolving, and encompasses so many different things, right? So
Hmm.
you have a building that you want to protect. You want to protect the people in it. You want to protect the people coming into the building. You want to protect your computers, your
Hmm.
software, your customer information that they don't want getting out there. I mean, there's so many aspects of security. Um, you mentioned AI. When I think of AI, I think of a lot of things. But I mentioned, even people coming in to a business. If there's a spill somewhere and somebody could slip and fall, would you like to be notified if there was a spill? So
Hmm.
someone couldn't slip.
Right.
That's one example. But when something bad does happen, it's having nice products to deliver, not only everything you said it was going to do, but maybe the person doesn't quite remember how tall the person was or if they're wearing a hat. You know, I know we had a blue shirt, you know, with our video management software and our camera solution, you can type in red shirt,
Hmm.
bring up all of the people that walk through the front door with a red shirt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, we have license plate cameras. Um, they have a lot of neat features, but if there's ever a license plate number, letters, that you want to be put in the system and ever be notified if that license plate ever came back to your property, we could send you, the software would send you a text.
Mm-hmm.
So, example would be a disgruntled employee
Mm-hmm.
uh, or a customer that was misbehaving or whatever the reason, someone going through a divorce. You think of the reason that license plate pulls up, all of management gets a text or notification that this vehicle is at your property. Um, Face detection. I mean, there's all sorts of different AI features
Mm-hmm.
that are mind-boggling. So that's something exciting, you know. Once word gets out there about all these AI features, people start inquiring about it, you know, and you explain all the differences and what's available, and everything comes with a different price tag, and it comes back with finding out what the customer's looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Unfortunately, there's these school shootings. Um, so there's mass notification systems that those products are getting better and better. Love meeting with school districts, lockdowns, notifications, where everybody's going to meet depending on the type of disaster. Um, an example, a monitor that can be show you the right way out of a building when there's a stressful situation with arrows, or maybe that monitor turning into an exit light. Um, it's just amazing technology, all the different things coming out. So, you
Absolutely,
know, yeah,
absolutely.
everything with AI, and then, the continued problems with schools and the options for them, I would say is probably top notch, you know, exciting for 2025.
Yeah, I saw something. Zuckerberg, I think he owns land in Hawaii, and he has a farm, and so he collects data, and you certainly provide the infrastructure to whatever type of data might already be out there, bring it together with what other ever type of data you could still gather and create a picture. And that's what it sounds like you're doing. That could be more proactive versus reacting to something. And but he owns cows, and from an AI perspective, he has a camera that's measuring or it sees the cows come in for daily, daily milking or whatever, and he can actually identify which ones might not be doing so well, you know, from the way that their order or whatever it is. But there's data points. It's just very interesting, all the things that, especially with technology like your company, um, will be faced with as opportunities, but also um, problems that need to be solved.
Hmm. Yeah, it's definitely fun. I mean, you meet all sorts of different people,
Mm.
all sorts of different things that you learn. It's ever changing. It's a fun industry, without a
Yeah.
doubt. And going back to the collaborating thing, our salespeople, which like to be called solutions architects, um, they'll meet with our service manager, install manager, and say, hey, this is what's going on at this place. This is what I'm thinking. And sometimes the salespeople are right on the button. Yep, run with that. That sounds like a good plan. But we always like to get input from the team that's installing the equipment, servicing the equipment. They work with the equipment day in and day out, and they'll have suggestions.
Mhm.
And that only helps the salespeople. We want to be on the same page. You
Yep.
know, there's no point in trying to make something more expensive or overcomplicated. Um, so the sales team and the tech team are always on the same page, and they take a final look at things, make sure that we got all the nice right pieces and products in there, and got a right quote to them. So
That's
that's
great. I was just going to talk about simplification and focus, and I like to use the analogy of especially with all the complexity that can come with changes and needs, like you said, security and threats and things like that. How how do you go about, simplification in your business as all these new things are coming at you? How do you weed the garden, if you will, in order for certain things to grow? Um,
Yeah.
I think that's an important aspect for leaders.
hmm
Thoughts?
Yeah. Staying on top of what's new coming out, making sure your customers are happy. Um, I'm the current vice president for the Wisconsin Security Association.
Mhm.
Really enjoyed volunteering my time, but I also learn a lot of things. And we have vendor events and vendor showcases, and um, they give product demonstrations, and boy, is that helpful. And I'll invite anybody from our team is always um, welcome to come to these events.
Oh.
And then some of our suppliers also have trainings. Um, we have our preferred products,
Mhm.
but nothing's proprietary. And we like to know A to Z on that product. So they're always um, coming out with new features, and the reps do a great job of staying in front of us, explaining things. And we have 4 divisions at our company, so we have managers for each division, and that's their job, to stay on top of new trends, product updates for the year. We just started 2025. We're gonna have a whole bunch of eating going on at Lisbon Creek, with the different vendors coming in and
Sure.
wanting us to stay up to date. We'll have to get a treadmill.
Yeah.
Um, we,
Yeah.
we I mean, there's a lot in tech. There's a lot of meetings and updates, and it's definitely work. And you got to invest in your employees, to maybe not be out in the field. You're going to be in the office for a few hours, having a discussion about what's new and what's available, and inviting, some of them folks to those meetings. So it's definitely work, but it all pays off. You got to stay on top of things. It's the industry we're in.
Well, I get to see your facility every now and then when I come over there for networking discussions. So it's quite a place, and I think there's a little bit of room for a treadmill. I'll have to wait and see when that pops in there.
Yeah, yeah, we'll put it by the pool table.
Yeah, yeah, it's that pool table. I see that, and I see lots of good food as well. So, um, talk about, since we're talking about the environment of the workplace and high performing teams. What's your philosophy around that? There are a lot of philosophies that are out there. How do you build a high performing team? There's things about trust and such. And how do you build a high performing team? What do you think are some of the ingredients?
Yeah, we've been blessed that a lot of our employees have come by referral. I think that's been a huge blessing. Um, I think we do a pretty darn good job in the interviewing process. Sometimes it's 2 or 3, 4 different interviews and discussions. Um, and we look for people that, seem to have good character and um, care about others and enjoy technology. I think at the core, that's been a great thing. They refer to us, they enjoy technology, they're good people, you know, and then they got to learn, you know, and then we have them shadow other people in the same position, so there's a lot of job shadowing.
Mhm.
People get sick, they move, you got to have people in place if someone leaves, that sort of thing. So having multiple people being able to take care of a project or a job has been huge. Um, Going back to that company culture, we have, um, the having fun. We have a company meeting. I don't know if I mentioned that yet. It's every Friday,
Mhm.
mandatory, and the whole company's there. make breakfast,
Hmm.
and we talk about our jobs from last week, what's coming up this week. But I love going over last week. Is that job 97% done, or is it 100% done? How much time do we need to go back there? And then little things come out. Oh, by the way, Don mentioned he needs another camera, or he's having a new employee start next week. We need to help him on board on his computer. All the little details. Um, then you go over projects for next week, right? And the salesperson and then the install team get together
Mhm.
and have the prints, and they talk about um, make sure everything's marked exactly in this corner, not that corner. Just make sure everybody's on the same page. And I'm not going to say every time the salesperson makes it to the install, but pretty regular they do. You know, at least they had that pre-meeting to the install where the salespeople and the installers are together, making sure everybody's on the same page. And then when they're together again, they can do that introduction to the client. The job gets kicked off the only way it should be, the right way, you know.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
that company meeting is so important. Now we have, 18 employees all having breakfast, nothing getting done on the field,
Mhm.
but that component of um, good culture, getting together, having some laughs, some smiles, all being on the right page. Like I said, texting and emailing and phone calling only go so far. It's that last little piece that I think brings it all together.
Yeah. Sounds like a great environment, and a little bit like paradise almost. I would say because you have such good innovation there too. You're able to meet the needs of the client. And what about conflict? And do you have conflict? And if so, how do you ensure the conflict is good conflict, if you will?
Yeah, great question, Steve. I think with conflict, hopefully it's a conflict about what we could have did better. You guys showed up 20 minutes late to the install. Why was that? Well, I forgot this part, or I had to turn back around for this. It's good that, hey, we want to be on time. We want to be prompt. That could potentially be a conflict. Or, hey, you put the camera over here. Why was that? It was on the print, right? I suppose there is installation challenges. I don't know if they ever really reach conflicts though,
Yeah.
but how it's when you have those experiences, how can you learn from it?
Hmm.
What can we do better? And that may be on an AV system too. You put the speaker in the wrong place, or um, hard access. Did you put the reader on the right side of the door, or whatever it could be. So internally, we all seem to get along really good. But if there's something to talk about, some type of conflict, let's get together, let's air it out, let's talk about it. What can we do differently? We've been blessed overall, Steve, though.
It isn't necessarily a bad thing as long as you know people aren't being malicious, I guess is the word, around conflict, and they're they're addressing the conflict in line with the values that you've established in the company. And quite frankly, I think sometimes, what are your thoughts on this? But I think sometimes um, I can get emotional, and maybe I say something that I shouldn't have. Um, that's not good, right? During the moment. I think though that if I'm willing to say I did it, and I apologize and I'm sorry for it, it
Right,
actually
owning
it
something.
actually builds, doesn't it build more? I mean, what are your
Yeah,
thoughts? Yeah, I mean,
yeah, absolutely. Owning up to your mistakes. Absolutely.
yeah, yeah,
Um, you gotta, someone's gotta take responsibility, right?
yeah,
And I've certainly made mistakes here, and I'll just come out and say it, hey guys, I blew it. And then you talk about it, and it's never, no one ever does anything to hurt the company or it's malicious. But something else I'd like to make a comment on, and that was going back to the conflict thing. Sometimes a customer can be disappointed,
Mhm.
right? And that could potentially be looked at conflict. And you let them get their feelings out. You let them talk to you before you try and come up with a solution. Let them vent. Let them tell you what's going on. And we've done very well with that, through the years. And who knows what they went through yesterday, or what's happening at home, what their boss said to them. And I think everybody knows that we didn't mean to install something in the wrong place, or something's not working over here. Um, and something else we do to stay ahead of things is we offer service plans where we come in once a year, even if something's not working, and see if there's any questions, see if there's any new employees, if they have any questions, someone's got to be retrained, switch out the batteries. Um, if someone doesn't have a service plan, we still service them. It's a time and material sort of thing. They would call us if they needed something. But I always have the reps checking in with our clients. You don't have to leave a client alone if they don't want to, if they don't have a request for something. You can just call them and say, hey, how are things going? Is there anything we can improve on? Everything going okay? It's interesting when you call a client and they don't have a sales request, and you just call to see how things are going. They really appreciate that. I've stopped in at clients and I just say, hey, I just thank you for your business. Really appreciate it. Is everything going okay? And they were like, well, that's it. I was driving by. I just thought I'd pop in, thank you. That goes a long way. Um, because someday there is going to be potentially an issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that goes a long way. Hey, I'm here for you when you don't need anything, when you need something. Call me anytime. So got to take care of the customer. And going back to earlier, when we offer all these different products, it really does. It's really been a huge thing for us because we're stopping in to see the client. They have a service call, but then they'll ask us a question on something that's not even related to their service call. So just having boots on the ground, checking into other installs we've done, that's really been helpful. It's been sticky. People like the service.
Sure, sure. It keeps them with you then, because you built a relationship. It sounds like, you know,
Oh yeah,
it's not about you opening up the trunk and saying, well, as long as I'm here, I got this for you.
yeah,
You think, no, it's not it at all. It's part of your service differentiation. It sounds like it's what
mhm.
you're, why Lisbon Creek is successful. Any other advice that you might have for other aspiring entrepreneurs? If you think about, entrepreneurs starting things out, and you were there at one
Yep,
point, and you had a concept, and from your experiences, you had a product, but maybe that first there was a lot of learning that was going on to try and figure out how to actually sell something and such. And
yeah.
um, tell me about what would be some of your advice to entrepreneurs as they're thinking about maybe hanging their shingle at early stage?
Yeah. One thing that Earl and I were very blessed, and that was we worked for other companies, you know, for quite a while before we built up enough confidence to go give it a try ourselves. And our old employer was Steve and Mike, they were so supportive,
Hmm.
you know. I remember that day I was scared to death. Oh, I'm gonna go tell him, he was great to me, you know. Um, but I think all those experiences taught us so many lessons. And I would recommend to any person thinking of getting into the business, having their own business, that they work somewhere and they work at a few different places, get a lay of the land, meet some vendors, meet some different suppliers, people in the industry, join some associations, um, paid training basically, right?
Yeah.
Just don't just go into it.
Okay.
There's a lot of lessons to be learned, and it's a lot of work. So do your homework, and that would be my recommendation, that you work somewhere and learn what you're getting into, and then when you do take that plunge, um, start small. You know, learn a few different products, learn the experience of consulting and installing and follow through and billing. It's everything now. It's A to Z. You got to do all of them. You just can't go to R and call it a day.
Yeah.
You got to do all of them.
Yeah.
So, um, there's some wonderful business coaches out there too that I know. You know,
Good. Good. I think it's
Speaking of you, Steve.
okay. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's tough. It is tough, isn't it, early on? And to even try and have that type of sale that you mentioned earlier, that consultative partnership, and I'm not really selling you anything here yet. I mean, but more because especially the early, folks that are trying to generate some income, and pay the bills, and but it seems like it's a key to have some experience, like you said, in a business before, um, and then also make sure you're really trying to understand the customer's needs and their pain points, and before you rush on to open up the trunk and pull something out, try and sell it to
Yeah, be a good listener. Be a good listener. Find out exactly what the customer needs. You
them.
really got to understand what they need.
Yeah, yeah, and you also early on talked about the definition of a good prospect, and don't be too myopic, I think, or don't be too focused on a specific one right away. Keep your options open, and just listen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a focus. I just recommend that you're open to meeting all sorts of different people and learning as much as you can, and asking questions and learning. You know, there's companies out there that just focus on nursing homes.
Mhm.
Um, but we like to be helpful to all different organizations, and we have many relationships, and um, there's nothing wrong with having a focus. It's just, what are you focusing on? And to me, focusing on delivering great service
Mhm.
is very important. And that's what we do here. We have um, not lost many customers. Um, May 1st, we'll be in business 9 years. And to me, it's because not only our products, but the people that work here and the service we provide, people stick with us.
Mhm.
It's not because we sold them a proprietary product and they're stuck. It's all non-proprietary. They can leave at any time, right?
Mhm.
They stick with us because they like the service. And we've concentrated a ton on service. That's the only reason you'd have a company meeting where you have everybody sitting there, for a couple hours, right? You want to deliver on that service. So service is big. Um, Companies stick with us. Like I said, we want to be in line for that next project. You know, Next year we're going to be converting the phone system, or upgrading the cameras, or looking at the audio. So it's definitely a different approach. So that keeps us on top of our game.
Awesome. Awesome. Great. Any last words of advice? Any other thoughts that you'd like to provide?
No, not with the entrepreneurial aspect. Someone wanting to start a business. I'd just say be a good listener, provide great service, learn a few products, stick with that. Once you get that mastered, move on to the next. That would be my advice.
All right. Well, great. This has been tremendous, Ken. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Um, you know,
appreciate the.
yeah, you've been very patient with me as well and getting the technology set up on my side. So I appreciate that. And thank you for sharing your journey, uh, giving our listeners some insights of your insights and experiences that you've had. Talk about your strategies for success at Lisbon Creek. It's clearly making a difference, and it's a significant impact in helping the business simplify and thrive. Thrive in 25, I guess, right?
There you
Um,
go.
yeah. To our listeners, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Simplify, Lead, and Grow. And until next time, I'm Steve Kopecki, encouraging you to simplify, lead, and grow your businesses. Take advantage of 25. Let's thrive together. And take care. We'll see you in the next episode.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Simplify, Lead, and Grow podcast. We hope this episode provided you with valuable insights and actionable strategies to apply in your leadership journey. If you enjoyed the show, consider subscribing and leaving a review to help us reach more listeners. Be sure to share this podcast with fellow leaders ready to simplify their approach, lead with purpose, and grow their business. Until next time, continue to lead with passion and grow with purpose.